But that's all right. I'm pleased you're here. Do this with me. A simple sum, because we've got to get into maths. So add this with me. 1,000 plus 20 years. 1,020. That's pathetic. You never even spoke. Yeah. Let the others next door know we're having a good time. Loud. 1,000 plus 20 years. 1,020. No need to shout. Plus 30 years. 1,050. Plus 1,000 is. 2,050. 1,030 is. 3,080. Plus 1,000 is. 4,000. Plus 20 is. 5,000. Hands up those who said 5,000. Well done, you're all wrong. And if you look at the puzzle, there are no hundreds. So you've got 1,020, 1,050, 2,050, 3,080, 4,080. Add 20 to 80, 100, so it's 4,100. So the first thing to say to students, is I expect mistakes. You will make mistakes. It's the way we learn. They must not become a stigma to you. If they've been a stigma in the past, they shouldn't have been. We all make mistakes, so don't worry. That's over 100 years old, and we know, amazingly, 96 to 97% of people get it wrong first time. Because you're chiming thousands. So do you ever think of 100? Never. Okay. Mescaline, magician, right? Thoughts with that. So that's a start. I've got to look at my crib sheet now and again. Bluffing all the way. As I said in my speech earlier, all you want your students to do is learn how to learn. And if students are coming to you because they've been rattled, because they haven't done well at school, because they were never settled, because they weren't happy, they believed the school wasn't talking the same language as them, they believed they were being victimized, they had terrible home troubles, which gave them terrible social troubles, and that repercussed on them. For hundreds and hundreds of reasons, they can have found they haven't functioned till now, and they come to you, and you are last chance to them. And it's essential you get a grip with that. And it's almost the first thing you have to do is somehow say to you, look, you hear me, we've met it all before. Whatever kids have had, whatever people have had problems with, we've met it all before, we've seen it all. We here turn people round. You will succeed here. Give us time, it won't happen immediately, but you will succeed here. And we'll show you how. Because we're going to take the sting out of it. We're going to take the pain out of feeling you don't function with the people in charge of you. You're going to function with us because we want you to. And we're going to be your mentors. And it's that kind of, however, that kind of rhetoric. You've really got to get going and really got to spread. Because many of the kids who come to you at 17 and 18 are dysfunctional for all kinds of reasons. And the one thing they don't want to do is confront older people. Because they don't get on with older people. They don't, it's anathema to them. They only get on with their mates on street corners, you know, pushing drugs or whatever, alcohol, whatever. And they, you know, and so it's very difficult to get them. So you've got to break that down and get through to them. One way to get to them is you treat them like adults from day one. Really treat them like that, mature adults, like they have no hang-ups, no stigmas, they're adults. And you treat them like that. So if you want to swear at them, F and blind with them, if that's what suits you and them, do it, because you've got to feel you're communicating. And that's what you've got to do. Remember that you've got to take them places they haven't been before, and I used this earlier, Vitruvian Man, and I love it because there's so much I can do with that. But I'm not going to touch on that now. I'm going to touch on something else. I'm going to grab them perhaps where I can grab them. Is that the right word? I'm adamant here. They all, or the majority of them, hate maths and love or are addicted to gambling. So the first thing you do to treat them as adults is talk about gambling. Talk about the gambling they do. I tell people that I was good at maths, and when gambling, I was confronted with gambling when I was 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, I did quite stupid things in gambling. I actually at one time believed that you could win with a doubling up bet at roulette. That's your bet a £1. If you lose, bet it on a black or red or odd or even. An even bet. Bet a £1. If you lose, bet £2. If you lose, bet £4. If you lose, bet £8. And eventually you'll win. But when you think about it, 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 5 is 15, 31, 63. You're gambling £63, and when it wins, you get 1. So the gamble is, if 0 comes up and the whole bet's white, you've lost the whole 63. It was the most idiotic bet, and I love maths. So what was I doing? So why should we tell you, be very careful with gambling, in fact, wean yourself off gambling? Well, let me explain, and explain to them just how it works, how gambling works, why virtually every program on television these days, all the sports, are financed by the profits from gambling. All of them. You look at the credits. Why is that? Let's take how a bookmaker works. Say a bookmaker has a book for a 4-horse race, A, B and C and D, and say somebody bets £1 on A, £2 on B, £3 on C. It could be various people who bet this money, not just one person. That's all right. What have you got on the race? There's always, or there used to be, they probably do it now with artificial means, but there used to be a clerk by the bookie at the race course for every bet. All he was doing is putting the bet in and totalising, and having a totaliser all the way through, so he knew how much was in the purse, exactly how much was in the satchel. That's what he did. But he didn't stop there. Immediately, he reduced it by 20%. Because they were determined they weren't doing it for the sake of good of their health. Bookies do it to make money. So they say, for a start, if I can earn 20% today, I'll be very happy. So they take the 20% away and leave 80% or 8. And they only gamble with the 8. So if A wins, he could pay 9 to 1, but he doesn't, he pays 7 to 1. And they pay 7 out plus the 1 they bet, you pay 8 back. For B, he plays 6 to 2, or 6 to 2, or 3 to 1. He plays 3 to 1. That way, if it wins, you get 3 twos is 6, plus your bet back, which is 2, is 8. Right? Let's do this one. I'll come back to this one in a second. The 4, he could bet 6 to 4, give you 6 to 4, but he doesn't. He gives you evens. 4 to 4. And if it wins, you get 4, plus your 4, you get 8. Right? And the bookie is certain to make 20%. So it doesn't matter how many you gamble, you might win a few. My son, when he was at school, started to gamble when he was about 13, and he rang me with the joyous news that in the first week he'd won 50 quid. And I said, that's the worst possible thing that could have happened to you, to win at gambling in your first week. So I said, all I can say to you is promise me you'll go to the post office or a shop and you'll get a little book, a little notebook, your gambling notebook. Don't show it to anybody, keep it to yourself, right? Take that notebook and you write down every bet you make, and in the second column you write down what you got back from it. Never miss a calculation. 2 months later, he'd given up gambling. And that's what you've got to do. You will see you can't win because the bookies and all the gambling people are taking the money out. If this one, he could offer 5 to 3, right? But he doesn't like 5 to 3. You never see a horse at 5 to 3, right? Now, if he altered these down, you say 4 to 2, which is 2 to 1. Oh, he won't give 2 to 1. If he gave 2 to 1, he'd give 6 plus the bet 9. He'd give 9 back, and his profit would be there. But he alters it the other way. He goes, I'll give 6 to 4. And he calls that 6 to 4. So if it wins, it's 1.5. So 3 plus 1.5 is 4.5, plus the 3 back, 7.5. And he's altered the betting to be something, figures he likes, and figures the punters understand, but he's rounded them up, so he's increased his profit. And if he's down on the day, believe me, he can increase those profits whenever he can to compensate. And that is what a bookie does. But that is what a building society does. And that is what a hire purchase firm does. And that is what anybody who lends you money under any pretense does. First of all, they say, I'm lending you 10, I know that I want to profit. Right, I'm lending you 8, I want to profit, you're going to pay me 10 back. you're going to pay me more back, because that's going to be my profit. And that is going to rise as we go through. On time, that will rise. And that's what they do, and that's the way it is. There is no cheap money out there. There's nobody out there doing you a favour. And the odds are stacked so much against you, you must not gamble except with your mates. I bet Arsenal win tomorrow. Come on, a pint on it. That's fine. Doesn't matter whether you win or lose. What the bet is, that's not the issue. The issue is you screwing your money, the money you can't afford. So that's the first lesson. And suddenly, you've got them because you're talking their language and they see the sense of what you're saying. And you're treating them like an adult. And you're actually saying, I want to help you. Can you see the foolhardiness of it? And you tell them, when you've learned this, now you're going to go out and I bet you gamble this next week. I bet you still got the habit. I bet you gamble. I bet you still lose. A few of you might win. Because you won't have grasped it yet. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to grow into grasping it. And with the course we're going to teach you, you will grow into accepting it and progressing with it and understanding it and gaining your confidence in it. Now, a lot of you haven't got confidence in your education at all, and what we've got to do is build first is the confidence in what you are doing and the confidence in your own ability. That's how we start. So come along on the journey. And that's the kind of thing you need to start to show them. If you want to show them gambling, how gambling really works, you can show them Pascal's triangle. Pascal's triangle is wonderful. And the great thing, I say to teachers with 9-year-olds, the great thing about this, I'm showing you this. Right, kids, draw it. Get a piece of paper and do it. Do what? That triangle. I'll give you another glimpse. It starts with a 1, then there's 2 1s underneath it, 1 goes each way, and that's what happens. So this goes that way and that way. But look, there's only one way of going there, there's only one way of going there, but there's 2 ways of going to there. So that's a 2. It's the sum of the 2 numbers above. So this is the sum of the 2 numbers above. That's just a 1. This is the sum of the 2 numbers above. Right, fill it up. Do it. It can't be any simpler than that. And you see, instead of showing them, leading them the way, you're suddenly saying, I have confidence you can do this. And if they make a mistake, say, but all right, you'll get it next time. Have another look at it. And you go through it. And you look at this and say, well, what good is it? What does it do? I'll tell you what good it is. You can calculate immense things with this, and I've talked with something simple. You've got 5 fingers on a hand, you count a thumb as a finger, right? How many times can you take 2 fingers from 5? Well, you can take that one, and that one, and that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 ways you can take 5 fingers, 10 ways you can take 2 fingers from 5. But every time you take 2, you leave 3. So there should be 10 ways of taking 3 fingers from 5. But why have you had to work this out? You've got this. 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 in. 10 ways of taking 2 fingers from 5. 3 fingers from 5. 3 in. And there it is, it's there. And then it's there. So suddenly this is a great aid to odds of probability, to calculating probability. Why are the numbers there? What else is significant about this number 4? The roots from the top, always descending, never going sideways. There are 4 roots to this one. If I can go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are exactly 4 roots. Right. How many roots did this one? 35. How many did this? 126. It's called taxicab geometry. It's lovely. There's a thing called Fibonacci series, which you might discuss with them, because it's a fascinating thing. I'll do your Fibonacci series some. I don't know whether you'd use this or not, but it's quite, it's sort of empowering. Can you give me 2 numbers, or less than 7, quite small? I don't care.
1 and 3.
1 and 3. Do you want 1 first or 3 first?
1.
Oh. All right. 1 and 3. Add them together, you get 4. Add the last 2. Do it with me. 7 and 11 and 18 and 29. Hang on, how is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. 29, 47. Wow. 60, 76. I want 10. 1, 2, 3. Wow. 199. So we've got quite a big number, and I've got 10. Right, the question is, how long will it take me to add all those numbers? Can I do it in less than a minute? Are you ready? Less than half a minute. Less than 15 seconds. Less than 5 seconds. Less than 3 seconds. 319. The last one, the two together is one, carry one. The first one is the one you carry, 319. It is always the seventh one times 11. Always. And that's how it works. And you've got a power of maths. It's as simple as anything, but you've got a power of maths. It's a power. And that's wonderful. How does it work? If you want to go through algebra and you're doing algebra with them, that is A, that is B, so this is A plus B. This is A plus 2B. When you get to here, it's 5A plus 8B, and the total is 55A plus 88B. So it's obviously 11 times. And if you want to break them into algebra, you could do that, and it's very simple. The great thing about calculators, or the sad thing about calculators, is none of us know how to use them. Or very few. Does anybody know how to do the times function? Do you know? Yes, you do. Right, okay. Say you go to a store and they say everything today is 20% off. Then checking that it's 20% off could be a pain, because you've got to go, what's that, 104 quid? What's 20% off that? Right. But if you go 0.8, which is 20% off, times, now give me a figure, it's not 20% off. Any figure you like. £56. £56 equals £44.80. Right, give me another one.
75.
£75 equals £60. It will carry on doing that forever and ever. As simple as that. As simple as that. The actual figure you want. So if you do any VAT, it is brilliant. Just put the sum, the leading sum, the guiding sum, times, and every time you press a number and equals, it'll give you the answer. It's brilliant. None of us, except this lady, knew that this happened. But if you Google how a calculator works, every calculator manufacturer publishes dozens and dozens of ideas of how to make the damn thing work. When you buy them, there's an instruction leaflet that tells you all those things. Do we ever read them? No, we throw them away with the box. But it's there, so you can show your kids how to empower themselves using the web. And it's brilliantly powerful now. So things like this you can solve very quickly by Googling them and showing them what you found. You Google it in 2 minutes at home, you come in and you can show them what you found, and it's very powerful. I'll show you some maths that is really quite unbelievable, but also show you how incredibly powerful it was seen to be. For this, I need 2 volunteers. Oh no, you don't.
More than happily, but I think you want me.
I need a lady and a gentleman. Oh look, a lady and a gentleman. Good heavens. How did I find those? Oh, no. Now, I've had this prop a long time. On Wednesday, for my 7,000 kids, but it's about 6,002 kids, because a lot of them were teachers. But I made a new one of these, but it's too big. Right, so, can you go over there, young lady? Young lady. Hold just the ring. And you young sir hold this, about there, that's all you need. And this one, hold it there. Ground, right? Guy called Eratosthenes, he said people hate multiplying. They hate it. Why don't we make it simple? Why don't we put it in pictures? So what he did, he said, you draw a line, horizontal line, and you draw another line with any angle. The angle doesn't matter, but I like that one. Okay? And then you rule them off. Centimetres is fine, whatever measurement you like. Right? Now, with this device, I can multiply any 2 numbers or divide any 2 numbers. It's as simple as that. Say I want to multiply 34,600, no, 3 times 4. Don't tell me. To multiply 3 times 4, you find 1, 2, 3 on the top line, 1 on the bottom line, you draw a line through the 1 and the 3. You've got a picture of 1, 3. So simple. But you want 4 3s. Okay. Parallel line through the 4. I'm not looking at the top line, but if I get them parallel, this one should go to the 3, 6, 9, 12. 1, 3, 6, 9. Look, we'll hold it in the right place. No. There you go, 12. Thank you very much. Very good of you to come to our practice. There you go. There we are. 3 4s are 12. It works perfectly. Not only that, 1 3 gives you 3, 2 3 is 6, 3 3 is 9. 3 1/2 3 is 10 1/2. So using decimals, you can multiply any two numbers. Couldn't be much simpler, could it? Division, 12 divided by 4, 9 through the 12, 9 through the 4. Parallel line through the 1 gives you the answer on the top line, 3. Why are we worried about, you know? So our calculators do it, our computers do it, but the Greeks said, look how damned easy it is, stop worrying about it. Here's something really quite powerful using the same thing. I'm going to go along here with my finger and look at you, and between here and here, roughly, anywhere you like, you'll say stop and my finger will stop.
Stop.
There?
Yeah.
There, just this side of that one.
Okay.
Now I don't know what that distance is. We haven't measured it, I have no idea. Could I divide that distance exactly into 5 equal units, down to the millimetre?
So it's quite hard, but you obviously know.
Did I say 5? You could have 4 if you like, 4 or 5. We'll say 5. We'll say 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Whatever you want, you draw a line through that point and the 4 on the top line. And our parallel lines through the 3, 2, 1 will divide that exactly into 4. If you started with a 5, you could have divided it into 5. If you started with 7, you could divide it exactly into 7 equal parts. And with a little bit of accuracy on your part, it'll be incredibly accurate without you ever measuring it. It's so incredibly fast. You glad about that? Yeah, right. This is the most incredible of all. The first one of these is more important, and the last one of these is important. I put the middle one in, but René Descartes didn't put the middle one in. Greek maths, Eratosthenes, René Descartes, the most enlightening thing I can think of. So, find the square root of any number using a ruler and a pair of compasses. So say you want the square root of 3,000, no, 9. All right, thank you very much. Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now what you do is you add 1. Why? Because that's what makes it work. And that's what René Descartes said. Start with unity. Remember the 1 times 3? He said if you start with unity, a slide rule worked on the same principle. You found the value against 1, and then the value against whatever you wanted, and it was solved. Every journey starts with 1 step. So if you start with unity, the rest is simple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, add 1, 10. Half of 10 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 as radius, 5 as centre, and 5 as radius, you produce an arc. You can produce a circle going up here, through the 0, back through the 10. But you only want an arc to there, and you raise the perpendicular from the 9, and when you get to there, that distance is exactly the square root of that for any number. It's so beautiful. I showed this to Richard Dawkins, the anti-religious chap, and I showed him this and ruined his lunch because he kept saying, I can't believe it, I can't believe it. And he kept doing it again on his napkin. This is so powerful. Now why am I showing you this? René Descartes wrote a book called The Geometry. And in it, he said, I'll give you 2 examples to show that with a few lines and a few measurements, you can measure absolutely anything. He showed the first one, right? 3 4 to 12, fine, divided by 12, all that. And he showed this one. And then he showed how you can do so much more knowing a few lines and a bit of geometry. That was called The Geometry. From it, Newton and Leibniz went on quickly to produce calculus because the clues were all there, how to measure it was all there. They produced calculus. You could argue that from then on, people could handle the machines that were being made, the early steam engines and things like that, by working out the transferring of forces, the amalgamation of forces, because they had the mathematical tools. So without this maths, without Descartes' maths and the geometry, you could argue that the Industrial Revolution wouldn't have started. And it's the maths that's made it possible. And it's the maths that makes these work. It's working. Brilliant. Give these two a round of applause. Thank you very much. There's a lovely story about that square root. There's a guy out in 1880 wrote in the Times. He says, I went to the old Bedford Level. The old Bedford Level is a canal about 24 miles long that drains the fens. And it's dead straight. He said, I put my telescope to my eye. I could see no discernible curve. Therefore, the earth is quite clearly flat. And I will give a prize unbelievable in 1880 of £500 to anyone who can prove the earth is round. And Alfred Russel Wallace, who discovered evolution and told Darwin, and Darwin said, well, I've done it 20 years ago, but let's do it together. Alfred Russel Wallace went there. It's not far from Cambridge, so he got 2 punts from Cambridge. And if I could, perhaps I can get to this. No, I'll draw it. I'll draw this for you. I have a pen. Here they are. Thank you very much. Right. So, there's the earth. Right. So he went to the old Bedford Level. He got the 2 punts and he sailed them away. And on each punt was a stick and a telescope. Right. And he knew the distance from the telescope to the level of the water. Calm day. And he floated them a lot away until they both agreed that the line of sight between the two of them exactly touched the water in between. And they had flags saying, no, a bit further out, hang on, bit further out, hang on. That's it. When they all agreed, he measured it. In fact, he measured from there to there. He squared it, and he had the diameter of the earth to well within 1%. So it's the power of just a little bit of maths. And you can do incredible things. That's why we learn maths. And that's not why we learn school maths. School maths keeps testing us on whether we know 4 times 6 or 9 times 54. Why? Once you know the principle of multiplication, you don't have to prove you can do it. It's not the point. You've got things like this. Machines do it. The thing you've got to do is progress and let your knowledge take you further. That's what it's all about. That's what's wrong. That's what screwed many of our kids up. And that's the sad thing. I'll give you another example. How are we doing for time? Because I don't know how long. When do I finish? 20 past. Good. That's fine. That's 10 minutes. Wow. Wow. Okay. I do a thing on the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is incredible, and it's the dimensions. If you take the height of the pyramid, turn it into a radius, make a circle, the distance around that circle is 922 metres. And the distance around the 4 base edges of the original pyramid are 920 metres the same. And they did that on purpose, it seems, with no proof, because there's nothing written. But there are other maths in it that all fit together. And then there are flaws in it. So, anyway, but that's the theory. The thing was, I read this and thought it was fantastic. Then I read the Rin Papyrus, which indicated that the Egyptians were so bad at maths, they could only do their 2 times table. But they managed with a 2 times table. How would you manage if all you can do is 2 times table? They managed. And I'm going to show you how you can manage. Give me 2 numbers. Give me 2 numbers less than 20. Any two you like, shout them out.
11 and 15.
11 and 15. Thank you very much. They're very good. 11 and 15. 9 and 13. I've ignored you. Why? 11, 15, 165. I've done it. Okay. And it's quite easy to multiply, learn to multiply double figures. But why did I ignore you? If the Egyptians wanted to multiply 2 numbers, any 2 numbers, the first thing they would do is ignore them. Always. Write them side by side and write down a 1. Ignoring them. Then they'd write 2 ones, 2. 2 2s, 4. 2 4s, 8. Oh, come on now. 2 8s.
16.
You don't need 16. We're only going up to 9. Anything above 9 we don't need. So we've got 4. Then they do the other side. This is a little bit of maths at last. 2 13s. 2 26s. 2 52s. 104. And you've got 4 each side. Now the Egyptians are told there's only one way to make 9 from these numbers on the left hand side. You can make every number up to 15. That's 1, that's 2, where's 3? It's 2 plus 1. Oh yes. 4, 5, 4 plus 1, 6, 4 plus 2, 7. You can make every number up to 15. If you wanted 16, it's the next double number. We're finding 9. You can see which 2 add to 9. But there's a fail-safe way of doing it. Start at the bottom and go 8 plus 4 is 12, too big. 8 plus 2 is 10, too big. 8 plus 1 is 9. And when you've got your 9, you go to the other side and do the same. So you kept this one, so you keep that one. You cross this one out, that goes. Cross this one, keep this one, keep that one. Add up the ones you've kept, and you get 117. 9 times 13 equals 117. It works every single time. Now you're not applauding me, you're applauding the maths. And this is beautiful math. Now the book, I read a book, Newman's World of Mathematics, when a mathematician there said, the Egyptian maths was surprisingly unsophisticated. This is the most sophisticated thing you've ever seen in your life. You teach kids a 2 times table and this, and they can multiply numbers of any size. It's even more brilliant when you compare it with the present day, which is the valuation of doing it. Compare it to today. Let's score the ones we use with the 1, and the ones we didn't use with the 0. And reading up 1001 is the binary number for 9. And that's what your kids will say, you won't. Because binary numbers were dropped out of the curriculum in 1998. Okay. Binary numbers. When you punch 9 in the calculator, up comes 9. But there's no 9s in the calculator, just electronic switches, which happen to go on, off, on for 9. For 10, on, off, on, off. Why? On, off. 8 and 2 is 10. 104 plus 26, 130. 10 times 13, 130. It works, it's beautiful. I've got some binary cards. This was shown to me through a scientific American writer, and it's just lovely. Everyone in American schools was urged, you must make these cards, you must do this. We used to do it. We've thrown it out. Why? Look at this. This whole, what you've got is hole 1, hole 2, hole 1, hole 2, hole
3, 4.
The only thing to remember, the only thing to remember about binary numbers is you double up every time. You double up all the time. That's the only secret. Once you remember that, you can't fall off. Hole 1, hole 2, hole 4, hole 8. With bigger numbers, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, and you get long binary numbers, which is what we use. Right? These are short ones. Hole 1 works, hole 2 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, 8 does. 8 and 1 is 9. Another one, what this is. 1 doesn't work, but 2, 4 and 8 does. 8 and 4 is 12 and 2 is 14, and there it is. How long does it take to sort these out into numerical order? It only takes 1. These can stick through static, so I have to shape them. 2, 3, 4, and they're in numerical order. 1, 2, 3, 4. A bank or a building society might have 5 million customers, unless it's Northern Rock or the Co-op, and you can sort them out into numerical order in about half a second. About half a second. Shuffle the whole lot. Alphabetical order, half a second. Account number order, half a second. Binary numbers. We now have channel changes at home. We have satellites at home. We have 200 channels, all beaming down from various satellites. They don't all come from the same one. In a broad band of information. You think of just that picture and think of turning that picture, coding that into 1s and 0s. Well, the computer's done that. But think of doing that with a movie, which is changing images all the time, with the sound on it, there's all the other kind of stuff. It's phenomenal. And yet, 1s and 0s can paint you real-time pictures of movies, absolutely fail-safe, for 200 channels, all beaming down to you, and you just select the one you want, and fail-safe, it works. This is technology. This is how brilliant it was. And how many people who are in the industry of making film and turning it into to this coded system, how many of them know how the maths works? Very few. So your kids mustn't worry that they don't know the technology of the industry they're going into, because that's catered for by the employers. And employers are different animals to the people that your students have met. I tell people about this because I've worked for Unilever, Procter & Gamble, all of them, Dyson, all of them. They will tell you this. They want a child, a young person, to come in with a few qualifications, but personality and energy and confidence. And they come through that door with that, very soon their educational qualifications are put to one side. Because they're going to learn it all. Because all the maths, all the science, all the technology is totally different within the industry to what it is when you learn it. It's totally different. These are the people, colleges doing media studies. We had media study graduates come to us and do a video with us and had no bloody idea what we were doing. No idea what media was. No idea how it worked. But they got a degree in media studies. It was, how that happened, we don't know, but we were all of us in the business were saying, it's just bloody crazy. It doesn't matter, because they want to do it, they learn from us very quickly, and suddenly all the educational desire is out of the window. It's the desire to communicate, the desire to get on, the desire to be liked, the desire to be successful in your job, and that works. It doesn't matter. Mathematicians don't use the maths when they're in the job, or very seldom, as long as they've got it back there. And as long as they've learned how to learn, they won't be undaunted, or they won't be daunted, especially, by having to learn something new. Because they've learned how to learn. So that's all you're teaching your kids, and that's why it's so powerful. And I better wind up. I'm going to do a thing here, which is lovely, and I'm going to show you that you can really fascinate your kids and fascinate them. I want one of you, you young lady, can you think of any number? Right, just think of the number and tell me. I'm going to say that I want the number between 35 and 100, okay? Are you thinking?
Yes.
Don't tell me. Okay, tell me the number.
84.
84 or 81? 84. 84. 84. I thought you were going to say 99. I don't know why I thought that, but you said 84. And that's quite incredible. Because here we've got a square. And if you add them up, it's 64, 75, and 9 is 84. 4 and 10, 14, 63, 87, 77, 77, 84. 11, 19, 20, 84. What's that? 65, 71, 72, 74, 84. Wow. There are, I don't know, about 18 different ways of finding rows after your chosen number. Have we met before today? No. So it's wonderful. Let me show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. And this is the most beautiful thing. What you do is this. You remember this. 1 and 8 is 9. Upside down, 2 and 7 is 9. Near the 2, 3 and 6 is 9. Upside down, 4 and 5 is 9. There's a pretty pattern. 9, yes, so you go 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's where I got to when I asked you your number. You told me 84. So I knocked 20 off it and put 64, 65, 66, and one less here, 63. And there's the magic square. And it's so beautiful. I know more than one magician who is living with it. But you can show people that numbers are great fun, and if you know where to search and where to look, It's lovely, and there's nothing daunting about it. And it's beautiful, and you can be empowered by it. But once you've learned to remember that, you can do it, and if you don't learn to remember, you can't do it. So it just needs that effort, and it's not a lot of effort. It's a pretty pattern that you soon remember. And that's what education is all about, remembering pretty patterns, remembering pretty instances that you like to remember, and you grab hold of, and you build on that. And if our courses do that, if we don't get too pedantic, I want to see how far you've gone now. Next week we're going a stage further, and I can't stand it. I really can't stand that kind of teaching, which many of you are corralled into. It's got to be freer. If you love your class, you've got to show them things that you like because it shocks them or surprises them. I talked to kids yesterday, right? And I thought, what are they? Key stage 2, I'll do sex education. So I did sex education. And I did, I'd say Gregor Mendel bred peas, and he bred purple peas and white peas, right? And he crossed them. And when he crossed them, he got all the offspring were purple. But he thought, when two things breed, there must be half of from one and half of the other joining, and that's what a baby is made of, the two halves of the parents. So I think all the characteristics here will have been passed on, but I can't see any white. But hang on, if I had a white bathroom and I painted purple on top, I wouldn't see the white. It'd still be there, but I wouldn't see it. So perhaps these are all purple-white, but you can't see the white because the purple is more dominant. How can I prove that? I'll cross two of these. And he crossed two of these, and he got purple, 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 white. And he realised there's four possibilities. From here he could cross, he could pass on a purple, she could pass on a purple, two purples. That could be purple and a white, purple, white. And the purple would be dominant. White, purple. But the purple would be dominant. But 1 in 4 chance, they both pass on white, and you'd have an all white flower. And although he fiddled the books a little bit, because he didn't have ages and ages to do it and perfect it, he saw that that's the way it was. And that is the way we breed. Then I go on to show the kids chromosomes, and they're only 8, 9. I get a rope, one calls one end, I call this end, the rope goes shorter and shorter and shorter, 6 foot rope ends up like this, and your 6 foot piece of DNA in every one of your cells finishes up so coiled up it fits into the cell. And all this is just magic. It's finding the things that educate immediately. And if the syllabus doesn't do that, and it's pedantic, and says, right, this first week we're going this far, the next week we'll go this far, the next week we'll go, it's not going to energize the kids. You're going to need the desire to learn that they didn't show in school, and they may once again not show that desire to go along at that pace. So you've got somehow to turn them into buddies, pals, mates who you work with and who gradually gain confidence. And the confidence is what we test them on. And that's where it goes. I can't add any more because I've run out of time. But when I do this about it, I do about another half an hour, and I've missed a lot out. I missed because I hadn't got the slide. In a basic clarifying of maths, and I'll finish now. But let me show you this. That's the multiplication square, right? And that's another one. Let's go back to that one. A multiplication for kids who can't understand, it's so easy. You're looking for 4 times 5. Well, 4 times 5 is 20. You're along the 4 and 5, and you've got 20 there. And then you realise that all you're doing is turning things into rectangles. So there's a rectangle. Of the 4 and 5 rectangle, the bottom right-hand corner is 20. So where these numbers are squares, 1, 1 is 1, 2, 2 is a 4, 3, 3 is a 9, the squares, every other multiplication is a rectangle. And that is either 4 rows of 5 or 4 rows of 4. And it clarifies things. But it does more than that, because then you can go into most complicated things. It can take you all kinds of places. The squares come diagonally down. From the squares, if I know that 6 sixes are 36, what's going 1 each way? 5 times 7, 1 less. Right? 5 times 7 is 1 less. There it is. 6 times 6 is 37. 5 times 7, 1 less. 7 times 5, 1 less. Go 2 each way, and it's 4 less. Go 3 each way, it's 9 less. And suddenly you're looking at the magic, and suddenly it's the fun of the magic of the numbers. And that's only a start. Just with this. Now when you go to schools, you find they show them this, take it away and don't show them. No, stick it up on the bloody wall. Always there. Doesn't matter if you say what's 5 times 6 is, and they go 30. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They suddenly start to remember, and they remember the pattern, and it sinks in, and they're familiar with it. They're never scared of it because they've got the answer there, and suddenly you've taken the fear out of education. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to take the fear out of education. I've got to finish. I know. I did this 1.5 hour. I had to cut it down to an hour, which is sad, so all this went. And what the kids got from Wednesday is all that maths. All of that maths, and they've got this poster, every one of them, and it's just simply restated in as few words as I can with extensions to it. A lot of extensions there, some extensions over here. Look at that, extensions, the way things fall. It's called Don't Drive Off a Cliff, which I say to the kids, you know, here's something you can do at home. Borrow your dad's Ferrari, go off a cliff. If you want to use Ferrari, go off a cliff on your bike. Oh, I'm sorry, teachers, no, I mustn't tell you that. Go off a cliff on somebody else's bike. And that's the fun of it. And all that, and they did tests on that, and every one of them, or as far as we know, came up with the majority of answers back like that.